Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, Teresa, I can see it through the screen. Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just taking a tag. These are the Ink Essentials Ranger tags. They're number 8 size, which is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. But I'm going to actually cut off this top part because I want to attach it a different way and I don't want that on there. So I'm going to, and it doesn't have to be perfect for what I'm doing. So I'm just going to cut that off. There we go. Okay. So now basically I just have a, piece of cardstock, but it's already cut and it was easy because I had to buy some to make other stuff anyway. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a Queen of Hearts tag tonight. And let me set this stuff out of the way. I've got all kinds of stuff. I'm not sure what I'm going to use other than my image. And I know what I want my background to look like. So first thing I'm going to do is gesso this card on both sides. So whoops, dirt on there. So I'm just going to pour a little bit on here. Get my paintbrush and I'm just going to gesso the background. And that's not quite enough. Okay. And I might have to give this 2 coats. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to turn on my dryer, so bear with me for a second. Okay, then I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing to the other side, and then I'm probably going to end up doing 2 coats. So we'll reverse the process again. And I am not looking for perfection on this. So if there's little bumps or whatever in it, I'm okay with that. Different kinds of gesso, guys. I'm not really sure. I bought this for use on canvases, and it's the Bob Ross white gesso, and it pours like paint. And actually, you can, if you don't have gesso, you can just use white acrylic paint. It pretty much does the same thing. Okay, yep, I'm going to want a second coat. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little more on there. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, a more white background. And there's probably white tags out there, but this is all they had at Joann's. So. Okay, now I'm going to repeat the process on the back side again. Yeah, you can tell this is a bottle of gesso I've had for a while because it's got clumps in it. But I'm okay because what I'm going for here is texture anyway in the end. So. Okay. One more time. Because it's starting to curl, I can tell that's where it's dry. So. Okay, I'm going to flip it and hit it one more time. There we go. Okay. Now I want to show you guys. I slopped it on purpose because I wanted some texture. So I'm going to see if you can see this, but see how it's got some texture because I didn't do it evenly. I wasn't careful because I was looking for that textured look. So you can get texture even with just plain old gesso. All right. Let me wipe this off. And my messy hands too. Okay. Thank goodness for craft mats, huh? Rebecca, is Sam watching? If he is, hi Sam. Sam is an artist too. He made the amazing peacock picture that's in Rebecca's kit. Okay. And happens to be her husband. All right, so I'm going to set this aside and let it finish drying all the way while we work on this other part. So because we're doing Queen of Hearts, I have these heart lace doilies in the shop, and I'm going to use that. And then I cut out a heart out of book paper, and I'm going to use that to layer on top of it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to spray this with, what color is this? Scarlet. It's Scarlet Glimmer Mist from Tattered Angels. Somebody told me Tattered Angels went out of business. Is that true? Anybody know? So I'm just spraying it really good, getting it saturated. And I'm just going to go ahead and sop up that extra. No sense letting it go to waste. Okay. We're going to set that aside to dry now. And I don't know if you can, you probably can't see that because it's so, so faint. But there are like gold sparkles in this scarlet. And I'm actually going to go around the edges because I can see white edges and that's going to bother me. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to sop up the extra again. Turn it over, sop it up. There we go. Okay, so now we have a nice bright red heart, and I am going to set that aside to dry. And we're going to work on the paper heart. Now, for this one, I wanted to do a multi-tone for the background. On my image, she has like a turquoise at her feet here. And so I'm going to use this, it's called Turquoise Blue, and it's also by Tattered Angels. But I'm going to use it in a little bit different manner. And that is I'm going to just pour a little bit onto my work surface. And I probably poured way more than I needed, but anyway. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush instead, and I'm just going to paint the background. And it's okay if it's, you know, different hues because backgrounds are supposed to be, you know, lights and darks. So I'm not trying to be perfect. And the reason I'm doing it with a paintbrush instead of just spraying it on is because I didn't want any of those little droplets to show up. I just wanted the background. So, okay, so now you can kind of see here, it's not all one tone. It's got different variations. And I'm just going in and covering now just the white parts with kind of a drier brush. Okay, and like I said, I had way too much. I poured out way too much, so don't be wasteful like I was. That was definitely a mistake on my part. Okay, and I'm going to hit this with my heat gun. Okay, now you can see how it kind of muted out a little bit even more with when I dried it. So now I'm going to just take it and crumple it, and I want to make sure that all the white part is in the back and the colored part is in the front. And the reason for that is because when I pull it apart, and I'm not going to pull it apart all the way, okay, just kind of like that, just so there's still the wrinkles and the ridges, and you want those sticking up. I need to do more right here. Okay, and you can always go back in and re-wrinkle it after we do this part if you don't like how it turned out. Okay, and I forgot to grab it, so let me grab it. I'm going to use my Distress ink in Wild Honey, and I'm just going to put some on my pad, squirt a little water so I can make it like a paint. There we go, that should be enough, I think. Test this out. Huh. Well, I hope that's true because I do like their sprays. Okay, so I'm going to mix that around with the water so I have like a paint, and I'm just going to go in and hit the tops of the wrinkles. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go a little around on the edges too. Not every edge, but you know. Okay, now I'm going to pull it apart and see if I like that. Okay, and I see a big spot here in the middle and up here that I don't like, so I'm going to crumple that back up, pull it apart a little bit, and add some highlights to those. And even though this will probably be covered, a lot of it, I'm still going to do it anyway. And you just keep working it until you get it, you know, how you want it, so that it looks like a variegated background. Okay, I think I'm just going to add a little bit here and there with my brush now. Okay, now I'm going to take and wet it, and hopefully it'll bleed just a little bit more and blend together, which is what I'm kind of hoping for. And this spray bob does not want to work at an angle. Okay, there we go. All right, let me grab another paper towel. So I got it pretty wet. So I'm just going to lay this down and sop it up. And I'm going to sop up this over here while I'm at it. Okay, and there's a little bit there that I want to add, and I don't have to, you know, there's still enough on my brush that I can fix that up. Okay, and now I'm going to hit it with my heat gun again. All right, now I'm going to hold this up closer so you guys can see. And see, you got kind of a variegated background now. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to the red heart, and I'm going to dry that out. Now these hearts are 100% cotton. If this was synthetic, you would not want to use a heat gun on it. So if you're making this at home and you only have synthetic, just wait for it to dry. But if you've ordered from my store, these are 100% cotton, so you can hurry it up like I am. And I don't know about you, but I have very little patience for waiting for things to dry. Okay, so we got that dry. Now, you all know I'm not a big fan of heat guns. Glue guns. But the one time that I do use it is when I'm using paper, because you know, paper sticks really well to it. It does not work good on metal pieces and other things like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on here. And I'm putting a pretty generous amount because I want it to stick on really good. Okay, and I'm just going to put this in as close to the center of my heart as I can. Now, I hand cut this. It was not a die cut or anything, so it's not going to be perfect. But again, I'm not looking for perfection in this project, so. Okay, it's almost cool, which means it'll be dry. And I'm going to turn it upside down and set it aside because I am done with that part for the moment. And get some of this glue off. Good thing my cleaning lady's coming tomorrow. Just brush it on the floor. Okay, and I'll clean up the rest later. So, back to our tag. Now, still a little damp, so I think I'm going to dry it a little bit more if you guys will be patient with me. Whew. Again, it's really hot now. It's bubbling over on the other side. I kind of like that, actually. That will make some cool, a cool look to it when I go to paint it. And I think part of that is the glue in the back that's on the table. Okay. So let me let that cool down for a second. Get some of this glue off here because that heat gun is making it stick. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I have this glimmer mist, and it is Black Magic, which is kind of a grayish black color. Yep, now I got lots of texture, huh? Well, that's a good idea, Christy. Actually, I have a fetish about scraping it with my fingernails. I got to do it. It's just fun. It's like popping bubble wrap or something. I'm going to mix it up a little bit in there too. Okay, and now I'm going to use this to paint my background, but I don't want it too heavy, so. Okay, and now you see why I said I'm okay with the texture, because it just adds to the character of it. And I'm going to go now in one direction, now that I've got most of it on. Okay, we're going to hit it with the heat gun again. Sorry guys, I know there's a lot of heat involved in it, in making textured tags. Now I'm going to turn it over and do the other side. Okay, so there is our basic part of our tag done, and I really kind of love how this texture turned out. So I'm not sure which side I'm going to use for the front and the back yet. All right, let me wipe off my desk. Water. Okay, so anyway, I hope that was helpful in teaching you that you don't have to use your sprays as sprays. I actually, depending on the look I'm going for, if I don't want the spots, I often use them as paints because it gives you that shimmer and all of that. Okay, so I know that I want this to be at the bottom, And I think that I'm going to put it down about right there. Here, let me turn it around so you can see. I want just the corners of the tags to be hidden. So I'm going to put it on about right there. Okay, so we're going to start with that. And put some glue on here. Okay, so right about there. There we go. How'd I do? Ooh, not bad. Get that off of there real quick before it dries. Okay, so there's what we have so far. So right now I'm just going to kind of lay out my pieces to see how I want to finish up this background area. This is the little Queen of Hearts that I printed out. This is fusible fabric, and I just did that for extra texture. I got this image off of Pinterest, and it is actually, she sells them as postcards, so I'm kind of borrowing her image, but I'm not selling this, so, you know, hopefully she doesn't get upset if she sees this. And I will, when I post the video, I will actually post a link to her. Okay, so I think, let's see, how do I want to use this? This is from, this is lace from the store, and if you can see it, it's like little shields, which I thought was fitting for the queen thing. So let me just lay this on here. Now I know I want her head up here, and let's see, right about there, I think. So I'm just kind of laying it out right now. I'm just kind of playing because I'm not really sure. And this is what I'm going to hang it from. So I think I'm going to do 3 of those. Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm going to put this up at the top here. And for the sake of the class, I'm going to use the glue gun, which you know I don't normally do. Let's see, how far do I want that? So about right there. So I'm going to, whoops, out of glue. Try to get my glue gun. My extra glue. Oh, I better turn my iron on too. Okay. All right, so now let me see again. I lost track. About right there. So I'm going to put a line of glue just straight across like that. Make sure I have enough for it to stick down to. And then I'm going to take my lace and I'm just going to lay it on there. Okay. Now I could have ironed this ahead of time, but I didn't. And one of the reasons that I didn't is because I'm going to be using the iron here in a minute to put that girl on. So I've just cut the lace to where I needed it. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and put these on. So I want, let's see, I want them to meet in the middle, but be pretty even. So I think I got to go this way just a little. There we go. Okay, so that looks about perfect. So let's put some glue across here. Stick this one on. Okay, and now I can put the other one on. And as you saw, I held that one in place so that I knew where my measurements were going to be. And that way it helps you stay even. Okay. And stick that one on. Oh, that one's too, there we go. Still too high. Okay. All right, and then I want one in the center. And what do you think? Should I go up and down? I kind of like the up and down look. Kind of looks like a crown then, doesn't it? What do you guys think? Okay, I'm waiting for you guys to vote. Up and down or across? Yep, I think so too. I like the up and down look. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to take a little bit and go here. Okay. Now, if I were doing this not on air, I think all of you know me well enough to know that I would be using E6000 and letting it dry. But since for the sake of time, we're going with hot glue. Okay, so there's what we have so far. Okay. All right, now, where did my image go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So now I've got my image and I'm gonna see, where do I want this? About right there, I think. And then I rated the Scrabble game and have my letters. So I think the first thing I want to do is iron her on. So I've got her where I want her. So I'm just going to use the tip of my iron now and iron her on. And yes, you can iron on paper or, you know, whatever you need or whatever you have. This fusible stuff is awesome. And you can buy it at the store that's already got it on there and you just, you know, print on it. It comes in sheets. Or you can make your own with the spray stuff that you just, you know, cut out your 8x10 sheet, print on it, and then spray the back of it. I'm lazy. I buy that already done stuff. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and iron these down just to get them a little flatter. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's all I'm going to need the iron for, so I'm going to turn that off or I'll probably burn myself. All right, and now there's the little girl. Give it a second to focus. Let's see. There we go. That's the best I can get it, guys. Little girl on the heart. Okay, so I've got these letters and I have to figure out how I want to do it. And I may not even end up using them all. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I want it straight across. Yeah, I don't like it straight across. What do you guys think? Hey, we're making a Queen of Hearts tag. You know, a mixed media tag. So I think I want to randomize these. So I think I'm going to, actually, I could even do that. Oh yeah, I kind of like that. What do you guys think of that idea? Yes? Or I can, you know, randomize it this way. You know, something like that. What do you guys think? Okay, diagonally kind of wonky or at the top and add more stuff in. So we will go with the angle because that seems to be the vote. So I don't want it to be straight because I'm just not a straight kind of person. So I'm going to put them at angles. Let's start with the Q. And I think I'll start that about there. Okay. And then I think I'll do the U. Actually, I should probably lay these out. Do the U straight up and down maybe. And the E Get an angle that way, and then that way, and then straight up. No, not straight up, down, like that. Okay, there we go. I kind of like that. So, go ahead and glue these on. And I don't want to cover up her crown, so I got to get it just above it. And I don't care if they're spaced evenly because I'm going to add more. Okay, we're going to go, think about there. And last piece. Right there. Okay. All right, so now we have the letters on. Get what I'm not using out of the way. Okay, so now I have some crowns and some hearts, and let me see, my original idea was, and I don't know if that's going to work or not, but to set these on top of the letters. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if I can, like that. See if I can zoom in some. But they're a little thinner than I was remembering Scrabble pieces to be. So that's what it would look like. You can kind of see it. You do it on all of them, so it would be like this. And looking at it from my angle, it looks really good. All right, where'd my other one go? There it is. So I think I am going to go ahead with that. Just because I just like the added dimension. Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is what it would look like with them. Now, keep in mind, I can't keep them straight, so they're just kind of jimmied on here, but that's what it would look like with them on each tile. So I don't know, that was just a thought. And then I also have these hearts that I'm going to place randomly on here. So like I said, I'm just playing right now. I'm not, that's the thing about art is you never know what you're going to end up with. I may just end up doing one right there. I kind of like that idea too. That leaves this kind of plain though, the background. I also have this flower that I was thinking I could cut out, and I have this I could stick on there, one of the pieces, not the whole thing. So I can always stick this like that underneath there, lift this back up and stick it underneath there like that. Ooh, that's kind of cute. Get it in screen here. I mean, there's so many varieties that you could do. I really kind of like that. Stick it about right there. What do you think? I'm with you, Itza. The more crowns, the better, and they got to be sparkly. What do you think? That feather really takes up a lot of that space. It really helps. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to peel this back a little bit. So I can get this underneath there. And stick that underneath, just like that. Yep, I like that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so let me glue that back down. First the feathers. And then the doily. Okay, so that's what we got so far. Okay. And I got a little bit of glue on this part of this feather, so I'll have to melt that off and fix it later. Okay. So that's all to that, and then I can do what I thought I liked, and that was put this one heart right in the center of this banner here. So I'm going to do that, and I am actually going to use a regular glue for that. I just have to, guys. I just really hate hot glue guns. So I have to tell you about this amazing glue. It's called Journey Glaze, and I bought some from Christina Diet, who does the Fun Stampers Journey, because she's been a friend for like 2 years on Facebook, and she was one of my first followers on my blog. And so we share a lot of information, and she started with this company, and she was telling me how great this is, better than glossy accents, better than crystal effects, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll try it. What the heck, right? Well, it is. You can use it on fabric and wash it after it's dry. So it's totally waterproof. You can use it instead of resin. Here, let me show you what I did with a resin piece with it. I've tested it every which way you can think of. But there it is as a resin piece. Now I have to dome it still, but I mean, it's shiny, it's clear. It didn't yellow. It kept this is really hard to get it to focus. There it is. It kept the shine, and it didn't change the color. You know how glossy accents sometimes gets that like yellowy color? And I know that's hard to tell on this piece because it's vintage looking anyway, but it is. I'm telling you, it's really, really clear. I am totally, totally in love with this glue. Yes, she is a lovely lady. Yes, she does sell oils, not just scented oils, but she sells health oils too. And yes, she's, like I said, I've known her for about 2 years, and she's just fantastic. And she doesn't normally tell me about things unless they're really good. So, and she was absolutely right to tell me about this stuff. I will be buying it instead of glossy accents in the future. I bought 2 bottles, and I've used, this one is 3/4 gone already. And you'll see why tomorrow on the Gone Artsy blog, because I used a lot of it for the project I just did. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little blob right there. Love, love, love this glue. Okay, and then I'm going to put my heart there. And that will dry. Okay, so I don't know if I'll use these other hearts or not, but we'll see. So I wish those hearts were bigger, like rounder, so that I could have put that on top of the heart. But I didn't have any that were that big. So now, voting time. Sam thinks we should put this only on top of the, on top of the Q. And it's kind of hard to see. It's lost in the metal here. I could put it right in the middle on the E, or I can put it on every one. Kind of hard to see. Okay, voting time. Wow, we really have a mixture. Well, that's no fun. Now I got to decide. Just one. Okay, so the majority of the votes looks like just one. I don't think I like it on the Q, I can tell you that. Because it just totally gets lost in the other metal. So if I'm going to do just one, it's going to be on the E. I'm kind of the mind that they all should have it. But I'm going with what? On the U? No, I don't like it on the U. I like it in the E because it's centered. but I kind of like it on all of them. Okay, let's think about that. There's no hurry. The other option, ooh, that's kind of a neat idea. I could put it, instead I could put it on the top here. What do you think of that? Yeah, I really like it on all of them too. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on all of them, and I'm going to have to hold it upright like this in order to do it, so I'll be off screen for just a second. So I'm just going to put a dot of glue and get that on there. And if we don't like it, we can always take it off and do something else. I mean, that's the good thing about art, is it is fixable. You can always change your mind. Okay, going off screen for just a sec, guys. Okay, there it is with all of them. What do you think? No, Jean, it's supposed to be vintagey because it's paper looking, so I didn't want to do that. But I mean, I still think that it could, you know, I could use hearts down here. I mean, there's lots of options still. Okay, so do you like all the crowns? I kind of like that. All right. I'm going to use my heat gun for just a second because I noticed that there's quite a bit of glue on the top here, so I want to get that melted down. Kind of bled through when I was sticking those on. Okay, now I have a couple of chains here, and my original idea, and I got these from Miriam's. Oh, these pieces here are from Miriam's. The crowns are from Miriam's, and these chains and the hearts are all from Miriam's, just so you know. I love her stuff. Okay, need my little tool. All right, so I'm going to just try this because this is what I was originally thinking, is that I would hook this up in here. And I might not like it, I might take it off, but I'm going to try it. Like I said, that's the fun thing about art. And this class is going to go a little over an hour, guys. I'm sorry about that. Okay. And then I looked in my stash to see if I had any heart. Ooh, now that I think about it, I know where they are. I couldn't find my heart beads earlier, but I know where they are. So I'm going to go grab those here in a second. Working with jewelry is kind of tedious. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to attach this not at the point, but right here, and you'll see why in a second. Come on. Use my tool. That'd be easier and smarter, huh? Okay, there we go. Okay, squeeze that together. I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. So let's see, we are 2, 3 in the middle. Okay, so right here, and I'm just sticking it through the very edge. And I know this is hard to see because my fingers are in the way. And plus these are such tiny little rings. I'm not using jump rings, I'm actually using the links of the chain. Okay, and how much do I need now? Let's see. Sorry guys, I know I'm off camera again, but I got to figure out the length. And I'm not about to start counting links. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So right here. Now, if I was doing an actual jewelry piece, I would count links, but on something like this, no. Okay, get it in here. That one was easier. Okay, so I've got the 2 chains hanging down like this. Wait till it stops swinging. Okay, and now I'm going to attach another chain going across the center here. So let me get those down. And they're not perfectly even, but they're close. Okay, so I'm going to go here. Hope you guys aren't totally bored out of your minds. I know this is a long class and there's a lot of tedious little close-up work on this one. Can't get this one to close. There we go. Dang it, I'm knocking all my hearts on the floor. Okay, and I want it just slightly longer than the others, so we're going to go about right there. Okay, right there. Yeah, we had a lightning storm here earlier. It's supposed to rain all day, and it really didn't. It did rain for a little while, but we had a lightning storm, and I had to get off the internet for a little while. But it's over, thankfully. was kind of worried that I might have to cancel the class if it kept up. I'm telling you, I did not expect this much rain when I moved here from Texas. I really thought Florida was supposed to be the sunshine state. I don't know what the heck happened, but it's too much for me. I really am really not liking all this rain. Okay, so there's what we have. I don't know if you can kind of see there. Okay. And you could make that shorter, longer, however you wanted it. Now, I'll be right back. I'm going to go see if I can grab those beads that I knew that I had. I just couldn't figure out where I put them, but now I remember. Got them. Okay, and now I'm going to hang these from these chains. So I'm going to find the center, or as close as I can anyway. And that's going to be right there. Now, since I don't have jump rings, I got to open these rings up again because I left my jump rings upstairs. So hopefully I can make this fit. Not positive. Come on, come on. Paul's not home. He went to play poker, or I'd have him go get my jump rings. Yeah, that's not going to work without my jump rings. Okay, so I will attach those after the class and put pictures up so that I'm not running around making you guys wait, but I'll lay them on here so you can see, you can get the idea. So if I lay this out like that, these will have these heart-shaped things at the ends here like that. Okay. All right, so that's what's going to go at the bottom. So the only thing really left to do now is to work on the top. And I have seam binding, I have this heart ribbon, and I have more chain. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I think this heart is going to be too much, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use seam binding. And I definitely want the chain. And what did I do with that other one? I'm going to use both of these claws. And let's see, how long do I want that? Probably about like that. Okay. So let me take this apart. Oops. Ugh, these rings are so little. I'm sorry, you guys. I know it's tedious and hard to see what I'm doing, but you've all worked with jump rings, so I mean, the link in the chain is really no different than a jump ring. It's just smaller. So, come on, stay on there. Ah! This is frustrating. Sometimes I wonder why I work with jewelry. But I do love it. There we go. Okay, again, this is not how you would work with these things if you were making jewelry. But since I'm not worried about it getting jostled around on people's clothes. So, okay, so now what I want to do is tie the end. And do I want that through there? Actually, I think I'm going to attach this first. So I can figure out how I want that ribbon. Which one did I do it to? Right there. Okay. All right, so now I've attached it to the top, and now I'm just going to attach some seam binding. And I kind of want to weave it around, so I think I'm going to tie it through the claw, which will kind of cover up the fact that it is a claw too. Okay. And I can just make a nice knot. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of, now you could crinkle this beforehand, you could do lots of different things, but I'm just going to kind of wind it through randomly. And if I don't like it when I'm done, I can always change it. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. And let me cut this off here. And feed it through here. Tie it off again. Okay, and there we go. And I probably will redo this and, you know, wrap it better. But anyway, that's the idea. And then what I will do, but I want to rework it first, is glue a little heart on the top of each of the knots, and that will tie it, that will blend it together. Come on, come back here. Like that. Oh, doesn't want to stay. Ah! Did you ever have one of those days? I'm having one of those. Make it flatter. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out so you can see the total effect. Even though it won't be attached, you'll get the full effect. And when it's all done, I will take pictures and post it, but I want to get jump rings and stuff, and I don't want to make you guys wait. So there we go. Let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, I guess that's as far as I can go out. Let me push this back. Okay, it's not wanting to go anywhere, so, but if I do this, okay, there you go. What do you think? Thank you. That was one of the things that I first thought of that I'm like, yeah, I got to do that. All right, so that's our project for tonight. Like I said, you could add things to here, and I still might do that. I don't know. But this was the basic project, and more or less, I just wanted to show you some different ways to use the glimmer mist, and that you can use fusible, you know, fabric and different things like that. You don't have to limit yourself with the colors. One of the reasons I carry mostly white and off-white is because you can dye it with so many different things. Rit is my favorite. Don't be afraid to dye your lace. And So it's just fun, and you can use lace in lots of different ways. Okay, thanks for joining me, guys. And I hope that you liked it and that you'll come back and see us again. We have our calendar on the fan page so that you can follow along with whoever's teaching. Each DT has a different day and all that. So let's see, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Jean is next. Wow, Sammy Price. I thought that was your husband, Sammy, Rebecca, but I guess not. Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, guys. Glad you came, and we'll see you next time.